Is Jesus greater than the spirit world? The question I have to that question is, why are our native people so into the spirit world? Why are they want to appease the spirits? And really, I would say when you look at that, there's fear. There's fear among our people. So they want to know who's greater. Is it Christ? Is it the spirit world? And I've got to say, by all means, it is Jesus Christ. And why is that, Huron? And the answer that comes to my mind is that Christ is the Son of God, okay? Christ is God's Son. Again, my mind just falls to Hebrews, where it talks about Christ. And as you read through Hebrews chapter 1, you see the different descriptions of what Christ has done. And all of Hebrews talks about the greatness of Christ, the authority. There is no other authority than Jesus Christ. But I love it in the end of chapter 1 and chapter 2, it talks about angels. It talks about, and again, in the Jewish world, the angels were God's messengers. But what it says here is that Christ is footstool is far above the angels. And so when we start to look at that, when I start looking at that in Scripture, and I realize the power and the authority and just the unapproachableness of God Himself, Jesus Christ, in compared to the angels. And I realize that I have free access as one who has chosen to follow Christ. You know what that has done for me when I deal with spiritual battles? That has put my faith in that power and in that authority. I don't fear. I don't fear what the spirit world has in front of me. I want to tell you a story that will underscore what I'm trying to say. I was actually among the Northern Cheyennes in Montana, and we were teaching, and it was outdoors. It was at a camp meeting, and I was speaking on spiritual warfare. I was speaking on the portrait of a mighty warrior, a spiritual warrior. And one thing is to understand who his opposition is. And we talked about that. We talked about Satan. We talked about the demons and the spirit world. And we just opened it up. We opened up the scripture and we just opened it, it just laid it bare what was going on. That evening, after the service was over, I went to my tent. They had a little tent that was pitched at the base of a big, huge tree. And so I started to go to sleep. And I wasn't laying there very long, and all of a sudden I heard above me 2 owls, okay? And these owls were hooting, and you heard them just hooting, you know? And among our native people, I know among our Kiowa people, the owl is a representation of death, okay? I know it wasn't good news. So I just laid there. I listened to that. I thought, here we were just talking about the enemy, and here was evidence of that. You know what I did? I prayed, okay? And again, like I said, I just acknowledged who the Lord is. I described His character, and I said, Lord, I put my trust in you, and Father, based on you, who you are and your power and your authority, Lord, you are the one that's going to fight this battle against the enemy. And so I ask you that these owls would leave. And I must have prayed for, I want to say, about 30 minutes or so. I was in conversation with the Lord. Well, the owls left that evening. The next morning, we had breakfast. All the folks got around the table and everything. And I made the comment, did you notice anything different last night? They kind of looked at each other and they said, yeah. I said, did you hear anything? They kind of smiled. They said, yes. I said, what did you hear? They said, we heard owls. I says, what do owls mean among your people? And they told me, okay, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I told them basically what took place that night, how I prayed, how I went to the Word, how I committed it to the Lord. And I put it in the Lord's hands to fight the battle. And I said, you know what? The owls are gone. I couldn't have given a better example in a message than what God demonstrated to those people that day. So we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear against the spirit world. When we realize the power, the authority that we have in Jesus Christ, the very Son of God, and He's the one that fights the battles, not us. But if we will take His word, if we will take our prayers, our conversation before God, we will see God bring victory in those situations, just like I saw that evening.